What would you say to someone like me who is a young family and seeing more hope in the idea of the landlocked Western Canada than a never-ending level of government? The Liberal government owns the media, they run the universities, they have no shame or integrity. It feels like the game is rigged and that the East will always decide their fate. Why should Alberta and Saskatchewan stay?
That's a fair question. A very fair question. I frankly understand the frustration. I believe the answer is in building alliances with like-minded Canadians across the country. So, for example, Alberta and Saskatchewan should lock arms with Newfoundland, which wants to repeal C-69 so that it can double its oil production. Newfoundland got off equalization by producing offshore oil. Now they want to do gas. We should lock arms with them to do that. You have the First Nations communities along with the British Columbia coast that want to build at least a half dozen LNG liquefaction plants to take Alberta's gas, liquefy it, put it on a ship, send it off to 2.5 billion customers in Asia, and get $14 for a million metric British thermal units instead of $3. That would bring home tens of billions of dollars of wealth for our people across the oil and gas regions of this country. We should team up with the people in the Greater Toronto area who want to see a massive crackdown on crime by toughening up the criminal justice system because they're seeing the chaos in their streets. We should build alliances with, and you might be surprised to hear me say this, Quebec wants to have a smaller, weaker federal government so that they can have more autonomy over their provincial decisions. We should team up with them and say every province, including Alberta and Saskatchewan, should have more autonomy by having less power concentrated in Ottawa. Now, you might say that sounds great, but when is it ever going to happen? Well, it did happen. I described the nightmare that that happened under the Pierre Trudeau period. But a few years later, we got a conservative government that brought in free trade with the United States, which was a massive boon for the prairies, by the way. It got rid of the National Energy Program, privatized or got rid of about 25 different federal government agencies and bodies, reduced the size of the federal government in relative terms by roughly half. And in the period following 1984 to 2015, Alberta became pretty much the richest place anywhere in the world. In the period from the mid-80s until 2015, when Harper left office, we built the oil sands. Incredible. The oil sands boom happened in that entire time. We have an incredible history with Canada, fighting and winning wars, building prosperity, settling the West. And I think we should build on that history by building alliances with other parts of the country that want the same things we do. Thank you.